When the first Lexus dealers began opening their doors in 1989, Toyota made waves in the luxury car market with their new brand's flagship, the LS400. Now, we've already covered the LS400 on the channel, so we know how successful it was and how in many ways it redefined the North American luxury segment. But as nice as the LS400 was, its price point excluded a certain buyer segment that maybe wanted something a little more upscale than a Camry, but couldn't afford or didn't want something as upper crust as the LS400. In fact, leading up to the official launch of Lexus, with Toyota focusing most of their development efforts into the LS400, Lexus dealers voiced concerns to the brand that they didn't want to launch with just one model. So in order to avoid this, somewhat hastily, at least in comparison to the development of the LS, the brand threw together the ES250, based off the existing Toyota Camry and aimed to compete directly with the Acura Legend. From the outside at least, it's not hard to see the Camry ES250 resemblance. So did Lexus do enough to upscale and differentiate the ES from the Camry in order to make it appealing enough to consumers to justify a trip to the premium dealership? Well, we're going to do a deep dive on the Lexus ES today to not only find that out, but also follow the evolution of every ES generation from 1990 to present, and find out just what this entry-level Lexus model is all about. Well, here it is, the ES250. When it comes to the ES, I think most people remember the second generation, the first ES300. In fact, I even see those ones on the road still sometimes. But the real first generation ES is often overlooked or even forgotten about. Due to a short production run, there really weren't very many of these ones made. They were only sold for the 1990 and 1991 model years. When this model is talked about, it is sometimes criticized for being a Toyota Camry rebadge. Now, the ES does manage to pull off a much more formal look from the front thanks to its more prominent grille outlined in chrome, and the two-tone paint colors help it stand out a little as well. The ES also gets standard integrated fog lights. The two models look even more similar from the back, but the ES uses a clearly LS-inspired taillight design, and the trunk lid is different, in that it does not go down and split the taillights like it does on the Camry. The unbroken lines of the ES taillights do look a little more upscale, but this does have a negative side effect from a practicality perspective. You see, on the Camry, where half of the taillights and the license plate rise with the trunk lid, this results in a much lower liftover and larger trunk opening. But on the ES250, it's virtually only the top of the trunk that opens, which will make loading and unloading heavy or large objects a little less convenient. I guess that's the price of looking good. So what about the inside? Well, you can see the resemblance here as well. While leather was a popular option package on the ES250, it wasn't standard. It was an upcharge of $950 plus the prerequisite $250 power driver's seat option. I will say though that if you get the leather package, the leather on the seats and the door inserts is very nice. The dash has a very similar layout to the Camry, although the center stack is different, and the ES does get a tasteful amount of real maple wood trim, which again definitely helps to upscale the interior. Both vehicles use the same climate controls, but the ES does get the Lexus doubled-in cassette player with standard 6 speakers. A CD player is available as an option. A driver's airbag is standard on the ES, and the design of the gauges is more LS inspired than Camry, but they don't use electroluminescent lighting like on the LS, instead using the more conventional twist wedge bulbs like the Camry. Overall, the interior is pretty nice, and I wouldn't think riding in one of these feels too much like riding in a Camry. At the very least, it's more refined and much quieter. Automobile Magazine said in their review that the ES250 drives down the road with ghostly silence. Lexus put considerable effort into ensuring the ES250 was a quiet and smooth vehicle. Extra sound deadening materials behind the dash and under the carpeting helped to cut down on road noise, and even the roof pillars were filled with foam. After all, a Lexus was to be a place of serenity and calm, where the occupants should hear not the noise and chatter of the outside world or the peasants going about their business around them. There is one other design feature that sets the ES apart from a Camry though, and that is that the ES has frameless windows, because the body of the ES is actually built off the hardtop Camry variant, the Toyota Vista, a Japanese parallel model to the Camry that we didn't get here. Aside from what I've already mentioned, the only other options available to the ES is the moonroof and an automatic transmission. Yes, these did come standard, but predictably for their segment, most were sold with the auto. So a manual transmission ES is a rare find indeed. Dealer accessories included wheel locks, a car cover, floor mats, and a trunk mat. There was only one trim for the ES. All your expected power options were of course standard. So were 4-wheel disc brakes, ABS, cruise control, and an anti-theft system. So if you wanted some sort of a base model, You're at the wrong dealership, bro. Go down the street and pick up a Camry. Under the hood is, you guessed it, the Camry V6, sending power to the front wheels. But that's okay, it's a good engine from Toyota's peak era of build quality, and it's right in line with the competition. It's a quad-cam, 24-valve, 2.5-liter V6, and it puts out 156 horsepower and 160 pound-feet of torque. Like on the LS, the 4-speed auto transmission is electronically controlled with normal and power modes. And that's basically it for the first gen. Like I said earlier, these were only sold for 2 model years, and even then they were quite overshadowed by the LS400. Many saw the ES as simply a placeholder for a more flushed out entry-level Lexus. Yes, the ES250 was upscaled, but so was the base price. A V6 Camry LE was approximately $6,000 less in 1990, and that's before you pay for the leather, power driver's seat, and automatic transmission, features that most luxury car buyers are going to want. I still think these are really nice, but I like these old Camrys, so why wouldn't I like a premium one? I throw no shade on the ES250, but to be honest, if I'm going to buy a front-wheel drive V6 luxury car from this era, I'd probably rather have a Legend. But let me know what you think. The new for 1992 ES300 is a little more Lexus and a little less Camry. That's not to say the ES doesn't still share a platform with the new Camry, it does. The actual design of the new ES comes from the Toyota Wyndham, another pillared hardtop variant of the Camry, but this one was designed with the Lexus market in mind. And it shows. The new ES300 is beautiful, it truly looks like a Lexus now. The new more rounded front fascia features projector headlights, and the standard fog lights have been moved down to the bumper. The taillights are similar in design to the previous generation, but are more rounded. Unfortunately, this trunk lid still has a pretty high liftover. The new interior is a lot more Lexus as well. If anything, I might criticize this interior for being too similar to the LS400, but at the end of the day, that just means the ES is giving you pretty near flagship levels of luxury at an entry-level luxury price point. Leather was still an option package, although again it was very popular and the majority of them seem to have been ordered that way. Heated front seats are now an available option as well. Even without the leather though, this new interior is really nice. An 8-way power adjustable driver's seat is now standard. The new electroluminescent gauges are pretty much taken right from the LS, as is the automatic climate controls and the 8-speaker premium sound system. This all comes together to make a very upscale feeling interior. The only other options are again a power moonroof, an automatic transmission, and a remote 6 CD changer. Everything else is standard, including a new keyless entry system. A tilt steering column, something that was absent from the previous generation, is now standard as well. The engine is still shared with the V6 Camry, but as you can probably guess, it's now a 3-liter. Power output is up to 185 horsepower and 189 pound-feet of torque. The extra power of this slightly larger engine really increases the performance of the ES. 0 to 60 is down to about 8 seconds, yet the ride remains smooth and quiet, with plenty of power available in the lower RPM range. Again, a 5-speed is the standard transmission, but most were optioned and sold with the automatic. Not surprisingly, this much improved ES sold much better than last year, jumping up from a little over 22,000 units in 1991 to nearly 40,000 units in 1992. The ES300 was now primarily competing with the Vigor, not the Legend, as well as its other more entry-level luxury competitors like the Mazda 929 and the Mitsubishi Diamante. At the time, this segment was often referred to as near luxury, and the ES would end up doing pretty well in this segment. For 1993, the ES300 was mostly unchanged, but they did add a tether to the fuel cap so people would stop forgetting them on top of gas pumps. For 1994, the ES gets a passenger side airbag and, along with the Camry, receives Toyota's new 1MZ FE engine. Power output goes up slightly to 188 horsepower and 203 pound-feet of torque. Unfortunately, the manual transmission has been discontinued for the ES from this point forward, making the manual transmission ES300 a very limited run. I actually think finding a manual ES is more difficult than finding a manual SC. Oh, you think you're so fancy with your 6-cylinder. Well, I might only have 5, but you know what else I have 5 of? Speeds. Da, 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 da. It's the one and only Digo Double G. Snoop Dogg. Inside, they added an outside temperature button to the climate control, which you could press to toggle the climate temp display to show the outside temperature. There's a special 5th anniversary option package, which includes special wheels, gold emblems, the 6 CD changer, leather, the moonroof, and anniversary floor mats. The cosmetic refresh comes for the 1995 model year. On the front, there are new square fog lights, a 3-slot grille replaces the 4-slot one, and updated headlights. Now, if you're looking at the 95 headlights and you can't tell the difference, you're not alone, I couldn't either. I had to actually read the 1995 brochure to find out that tinted reflectors and these added horizontal lines are the difference. Apparently these lines help give it a more distinctive look. If you say so, Lexus. If you're wondering about these headlight washers, this is a Canadian model and that was standard here. On the back there are updated taillights, and the ES300 badge has been moved from the lower portion of the right side taillight to the trunk lid. I kinda liked it better on the taillight. Chrome wheels have been added as an $1,100 option. For the final 1996 model year, Lexus adds a special Coach edition of the ES300. This fancy model adds special Coach edition leather with Coach logos on the headrests, extra wood trim on the doors, a special center console armrest, it's just a little bit thicker, special wheels, and black nickel emblems. This special edition also comes standard with the 6 CD changer and the moonroof, as well as some Coach edition luggage. With visible side badging and a cost of $3,000, this model is perfect for those who want to show their neighbors that you have more money than they do. Or at least are willing to make larger payments. After a little bit of a shaky start with the first generation, the second gen ES quickly became very successful, enjoying much better sales than the previous generation. By 1996, I think it was dominating its segment. I mean, what did the other Japanese brands have to compete with this? By 96, the Vigor had been replaced by the 2.5 TL, and I do not think that was an upgrade. The Mazda 929 had been replaced by the Millennia, and, well, no thanks. And the Infiniti i30 comes straight out of Maxima without enough upscaling to land a parking spot in most gated communities. By the late 90s, it seemed the more models Lexus made, the more market segments they took over. For the third generation ES, Lexus took a if it ain't broke, don't fix it approach and focused on further refinement of the ES rather than a radical redesign. After the success of the second generation, this was a good approach to take. Looking at the 1997 ES, the styling looks like a very natural evolution. For the most part, we see improvements. Wheelbase grows by 2 inches, helping to add 1.3 inches of legroom, although headroom is still a little lacking. The new trunk lid design finally gets rid of that annoyingly high liftover. I like the look of the new front fascia. It seems a little more modern, and overall I think this design looks really good, but I have to subtract a few points from the headlights, which have ditched the projectors and reverted back to reflectors. Inside we see mostly improvements, the new curves of the dash, the updated but very similar gauge cluster, and the slightly more refined looking center stack all help to make the interior feel very luxurious indeed. Real wood grain remains in the center console around the shifter and is extended onto the door panels as well. Aside from rear seat headroom, I can't really find much to complain about in here. Well, I agree, John, I would like those extra gauges too, but I think we have to accept reality. That's not going to happen in a car like this. Under the hood, the same V6 engine is carried over, but it's been updated and power has been bumped up to 200 horsepower and 214 pound-feet of torque. I did read that these engines have some oil consumption and oil gelling issues, enough to trigger class action lawsuits. Now, I have no experience with these engines, nor have I ever worked at Toyota or Lexus, so I'm not going to pretend to be an expert on these. But for you Toyota guys that are watching, leave a comment and give me the lowdown on these things. Is this a lack of maintenance issue that's manageable with timely oil changes or simple fixes, or is this actually a rare 90s Toyota engine you want to avoid? As we know, these are automatic only. It's still an electronically controlled 4-speed, now with intelligence. That basically means there is no power or comfort mode toggle switch anymore. Instead, the computer will adjust the shift profiles for you depending on how spirited you drive. Lexus's traction control system is now an available option. Another option is an adaptive variable suspension system. This system will continuously monitor vehicle dynamics, including driver inputs and road conditions, through a variety of sensors, and then adjust the shock damping for ideal comfort and performance. You can select 4 different profiles from comfort to sport to adjust the balance of comfort versus performance to your liking. Other options include an in-dash 6 CD changer, which is oddly significantly more expensive than the adaptive suspension, chrome wheels, leather is still an option, which now includes driver's seat memory, heated seats, and a power moonroof. For 1998, front row side airbags and an immobilizer system are added as standard. If you thought the previous CD changer option was expensive, well, now there's a premium sound system available which costs even more. But I guess that's a must-have if you want to show all the wasps of your neighborhood that you got the best beats. For $1999, Toyota's intelligent variable valve timing is added to the 1MZ, which boosts power up to 210 and torque to 220 pound-feet. Another coach edition has been added, now with black pearl emblems, walnut interior trim, the premium audio system, and of course coach luggage. I wonder how many people actually use this luggage. Imagine pulling up to a hotel and then just throwing down your Lexus coach bag on the bellhop dolly. What a power move. Take these to my room at once, and be careful with that second one, it's got my compact laptop in it. Traction control has become standard for $99, but you can now add vehicle stability control as an option, which integrates the traction control and ABS systems. The cosmetic refresh happens for the 2000 model year. On the front we have slightly reshaped headlights, a new front bumper and fog lights, and they reused the tactic of removing one of the slats from the grille. HID headlights are now an available option. On the back, the new taillights have clear lens turn signals, and they removed this pointless divider line, which really improves the look. The ES badge has also been moved back down to the right side taillight. The main visible difference on the inside is extra wood trim, which now goes up and around the climate and audio controls, but they also added some other things like an auto-dimming rearview mirror, fuel lid direction indicator on the instrument cluster, and in case you forget, I guess. They've also added a low setting to the heated seats, a cabin filter is now included with the leather package, and the memory seats now store the outside mirror positions as well. A 16-inch wheel package has been added in either aluminum or chrome, and brake assist has been added to the vehicle stability control package. The trunk pass-through is now lockable. A new Platinum Series package adds special leather maple wood trim, which extends onto the steering wheel, the CD changer, the moonroof, special alloy wheels, a programmable garage door opener, and black pearl emblems. You can get this package either with or without the premium audio system at prices of either $39.69 or $34.19 respectively. For the more cost cautious, a Lexus value package can be added at a price point of $24.65, which adds the leather, cabin filter, garage door opener, moonroof, and CD changer. We're starting to see a lot more things that are optional now, and I kinda miss the early days when options were few because your car already came with everything. Because it's a Lexus. Anyway, for the final 2001 model year, the Platinum package is replaced by another Coach edition, and the wood-trimmed steering wheel can now be ordered as a standalone $300 option. I've never really much understood the appeal to wood on the steering wheel. Leather is much nicer to grip, isn't it? But I guess the wood trim makes more of a statement. Yo crew, pack your coach bags. Word on the private community street is there's some middle income folks trying to use the local squash court. We about to show them who the donors are in this neighborhood. Move that Camry out of my way before I call your dad from my car phone and tell him I saw you out in public wearing jeans. Sorry sir, I was just leaving. That's right, you were.
'Cause no one's hotter than a New England gangster. We drink raw tea on the South Wing veranda.
So far, I think we can say that each generation of the ES has been a further refinement of the previous one. They've all been pretty good looking so far, and I'm excited to see what Lexus... Oh no. What is this? I don't know, do people like this? It looks like the Camry again, and not one of the cool ones. Well, this ES sold 71,450 units in its first model year, making it the best-selling luxury car in the United States for 2002. So yes, I guess people do like it. The interior is definitely a lot better than the outside. It's got the cool 3-spoke Lexus steering wheel, plenty of dark wood grain, and the 3-dial gauges, while maybe a little generic, are classed up by that California walnut. Dual zone automatic climate control is now standard, and rear seat passengers now get their own climate vents. Leather is technically still an option, as is heated seats, but I think you'll be hard pressed to ever find one of these with cloth. HID headlights are still an option, and they're now packaged with rain-sensing windshield wipers. Note all of the prerequisite options there are now. This is why you won't find one of these without leather, because to get almost any of the options, you had to either get leather or one of the bigger packages that includes leather first, whether it be the premium package, the premium audio package, or one of the new navigation packages. Vehicle stability with traction control and adaptive variable suspension remain options like last year, and one new option for 2002 that's worth mentioning is the power rear sunshade. These are all of course gate-kept by the leather, premium, or navigation packages. And none of these packages are exactly cheap, so even though the MSRP is just over $32,000, most of these would have been pushing $40,000 by the time they left the dealership. Under the hood, the 1MZ remains, and power output is unchanged, although the engine is now drive-by-wire, and the intelligent electronically controlled auto transmission is now a 5-speed. An increase in length and height gives this ES better rear seat room, particularly headroom, than last year. The frameless glass windows are no more. In 2003, power adjustable pedals are added as an option. For the 2004 model year, Lexus bumps the engine up to a 3.3 liter, and as you can probably guess, the model is now known as the ES330. Power is up to 225 horses and torque to 240 pound-feet. This new engine was able to shave about a second off the ES's 0 to 60 time. Electronic brake force distribution has now been added to the ABS system, and leather interior is finally standard. A limited Sport Design edition comes out for 2004, which gives you these unique 17-inch wheels, adaptive variable suspension, the Mark Levinson premium audio system, and black wood trim. The black wood looks pretty cool actually. For 2005, the ES gets a cosmetic update. The new headlights now feature projector lenses. I mean, we had that back in '92, but nice of them to finally bring it back. There's a new front bumper and the fog lights are now round. This time, instead of subtracting slats from the grille, they added them. Gotta keep things fresh, you know. There are also new taillights and a tiny strip of chrome added above the license plate. Changes to the interior include the availability of a new lighter maple wood trim, a new steering wheel, and the heated seats are now ventilated as well, although they're still an option. For 2005 and 2006, there was a Black Diamond edition, which as the name suggests, gets you this black diamond paint, as well as black diamond side pillars, some badging, 17-inch alloys, and of course luggage. Lexus is obsessed with luggage. You could get these either with the lighter golden maple wood trim or with black maple wood trim. I couldn't find any pictures of that, but I'm assuming it looks similar, if not the same, as the black wood trim from the Sport Design edition. Look, I don't really see the appeal to this generation, it's just so dull looking, but the sales numbers show that many people did. This generation was Lexus's best-selling sedan throughout its entire run, so clearly Lexus understands their market better than me. I guess if you want an upgraded, luxurious Camry that doesn't attract too much attention, well, this is your car. Get one of these in silver and you can drive back and forth to the office not only in comfort, but in complete anonymity. What am I watching? Is this a Lexus commercial or a Final Destination movie?
This is the pursuit of perfection.
Well, that was weird. Anyway, the styling of this generation was a result of Lexus's new El Finesse design philosophy. But I have to admit, I find this era of Lexus a little bland. Like, if the last generation was plain toast, this is like the crust piece. I'm probably being a little too hard on it. I just don't really like 2000s car styling. I never really have, with a few exceptions. Anyway, Lexus's UK magazine website has an ES history article which reads, and I quote, "The new ES was more sculptured to behold, like it had taken on a new fitness regime." Well, count me out of that gym membership. But this is an entry-level luxury car for the middle management masses, so I shouldn't really get too caught up in the styling. They weren't trying to make it cool or flashy. That's not really what this segment wants. What's important is that it does look premium. I wouldn't mistake this one for a Camry, although I might mistake it for another Lexus model. As usual for Lexus, the interior is really nice. I actually quite like these gauges, and I think Nissan must have liked these gauges too. There's a tasteful amount of real brown walnut wood grain, and leather comes in black, light gray, or cashmere. The only thing I don't like here is the weird oval shape of the center stack, and the climate controls commit the sin of integrating some of their functions into the infotainment unit. I know in 2007, touchscreen infotainment screens in cars would have still been quite a novelty, so I understand why they did it, especially since they were really trying to focus on advanced technology with this generation. Speaking of technology, this ES has headlights that can individually swivel, smart keyless entry, available dynamic radar cruise control, and you can get Lexus's pre-collision system, which uses the radar to detect when a collision is imminent and will pre-tension the seatbelts and give you maximum braking pressure in order to minimize the impact. Most of these are not standard features though, but they're things that you can either get as individual options or in packages. I'll put the various packages on screen in case you want to pause and read them in full, but to summarize, there's a navigation audio package which gives you the Mark Levinson premium audio system and voice-activated DVD-based navigation with a backup camera, a premium package which gives you rear seat airbags, Bluetooth, and key fob linked seat memory that also includes the side mirrors and steering wheel position. With the Premium Plus package, you can add to that heated and ventilated seats and rain-sensing windshield wipers. The Ultra Luxury package adds upgraded leather and wood trim to the steering wheel, this openable panorama glass roof, which is actually pretty cool, the adaptive front swivel lighting, power rear sunshade, graphite polished 17-inch alloy wheels, and a full-size spare. Lexus's vehicle stability control system is now standard. This model is now called the Lexus ES350, so we know it's now a 3.5-liter V6 under the hood, and in the ES it makes 272 horsepower and 254 pound-feet of torque, so a pretty healthy power output. And the intelligent automatic transmission is now a 6-speed. Not much happens with the ES until 2010 when it gets its expected mid-cycle update. There's a new grille and front bumper, new taillights, new wheels, and turn signals integrated into the side mirrors. Wood grain now comes in brown, walnut, or espresso bird's eye maple flavors, and there's a little bit more of it. They've added a slab along the top of the glove box and a little piece below the infotainment screen, as well as some added chrome trim, mainly along the glove box as well, but also around the center climate vents. These few small touches do make the already nice interior feel even nicer. Also, Lexus, is the gauge cluster in this press model you're showing off here busted? That can't be the resting position for the speedo needle. The infotainment and navigation system interface has been updated as the voice command system has been refined and now extends to the climate system as well. You now need only say it's too cold, and your Lexus will raise the temperature for you by 4 degrees. There is now just the navigation package, the Mark Levinson audio package, and the Ultra Luxury package, as well as a number of options that you can get individually. Memory seats, rain-sensing windshield wipers, and the rear seat airbags are now standard. Starting in the 2011 brochure, I noticed that the horsepower and torque ratings go down just slightly to 268 and 248. I'm not sure if that's a rating standard change, or I also did notice this is the first time Lexus starts advertising that the vehicle can run on regular 87 fuel, so maybe it's an octane thing. I'm not sure, so I just thought I'd point that out. Someone probably knows. That's really it for this generation. Not much changes in 2011 or 2012. This one's kind of boring, but boring sells in this class, and you can't deny that this is one well-equipped and well-built, boring luxury sedan. Alright, I just want to jump right in and talk about the interior first on this one. Look at this place! This feels like a whole different class of car now. This is a nice looking color scheme too. I especially like the dark espresso maple wood grain. Now this is actually the upgraded interior trim option. In order to get this, you had to at least get the premium package. Basic ES350s would come with piano black trim. Now that would be lame. As soon as it gets a fingerprint or smudge on it, you're screwed. Your reaction will be to wipe the smudge off, but then you'll be left with a streak of scratches. Basically, if you want it to hold up and keep looking nice, you can't touch it. Just pretend it's lava or something. Luckily for the ES, even the bottom tier upgrade package will swap that crap out with this nice wood grain. Definitely a Lexus interior, and it actually shares a lot in common with the GS and LS interiors. The outside is starting to look a little cooler again too. We've got the early beginnings of Lexus's corporate spindle grille. We also see Lexus's L-shaped LED running lights for the first time on the ES, which we know will become a signature part of Lexus styling in the years to come. I noticed a bunch of, I don't know, mass psychosis is what I think I would call it, in the comments section of the Motor Week video for this generation. So at one point in the video, John Davis says this.
And all that time, the ES has battled the perception that it's just a gussied up Camry. While a notion Lexus would love to dispel, the new ES still shares most mechanical bits with Camry.
Now let me show you some of the comments that statement triggered. Wrong info. It no longer shares platform with the Camry, it now shares platform with the Avalon. The ES is shared with the new Avalon, not Camry. Fail. It's based on the Avalon. Check your facts. I heard the Toyota press conference. The new ES shares components with the new Avalon, which is only loosely based on the Camry. Maybe these people are just ES owners that don't want to be associated with the lowly Camry. Move that Camry out of my way before I call your dad through my Bluetooth and tell him I saw you out in public wearing pajama pants.
Check your facts. This isn't a Camry. It's mostly based off the Avalon.
I don't give a fuck. Same thing. Move it anyway. Under the hood, it's still the 3.5 liter, pretty much unchanged and with the same power numbers as last year. But I think that's because Toyota focused their efforts on a different powertrain for this generation. For the first time, the ES now comes in a hybrid version. Meet the ES 300H. It's using a 2.5 inline 4 paired with an electric drive motor for a total system output of 200 horsepower. It's paired with an eCVT transmission, no surprise, and the ES350 continues to be paired with the 6-speed auto. There are a few stylistic differences on the hybrid model. This includes blue-tinged badges, a different rear bumper which hides the exhaust outlet,
because you can't be showing that off as a hybrid owner. Oh, an exhaust pipe? Disgraceful.
Different wheels, a standard rear spoiler, and a lighter bamboo wood trim, because according to the brochure, bamboo is sustainable. How about recycled newsprint trim? The ES now has a rotary drive mode selector with normal, sport, or eco modes. In eco mode, and I'm quoting from the brochure here, a calming blue light surrounds the gauge cluster, while climate and throttle settings are optimized for increased fuel efficiency. Sport mode changes the gauge cluster to a fiery red, and in the ES300H replaces the hybrid system indicator with a tachometer. Oh boy, the ES is getting silly. Alright, so some of the standard luxury features include a power moonroof, Bluetooth, dual zone auto climate control, smart access with push button start, an 8-speaker sound system, brake force distribution with brake assist, and traction control with VSC and ABS is all standard. Individual options include wood trim on the steering wheel and shift knob, heated seats, a power rear sunshade, rain sensing wipers, a blind spot monitor with rear cross traffic alert, a power operated trunk lid, the Mark Levinson sound system, lane departure warning, intuitive park assist, and Lexus's dynamic radar cruise control and pre-collision system. Packages are the premium package, which as I mentioned upgrades the piano black easy scratch trim to the wood grain and gives you a power tilt and telescoping steering wheel, key fob linked memory seats, that also includes the outside mirrors and steering wheel position. The luxury package adds to that list upgraded perforated leather and ventilated seats. Then there's the ultra luxury package, which gives you further upgraded leather, a panorama glass roof, a driver's seat power cushion extender, the rear sunshade, and ambient lighting. There's also a backup camera package and a navigation premium audio combo package. We don't see much in the way of changes until 2016, which is the refresh year. Up front, we can see a much more aggressive look with a larger spindle grille and more sharply shaped headlights. Updates are more subtle on the back, but overall the ES is starting to look much better. The updated interior features a new shifter, now with a boot, and trimmed out by additional wood grain, which now also comes in a dark mocha color. Power outputs for both powertrains are unchanged. Option packages remain pretty similar, but there is a new Safety System Plus package, which combines the pre-collision system, lane departure warning, now with steering assist, dynamic cruise control, and intelligent high beams. The intelligent high beams are a new feature which, well, I'm sure you know what it does. It turns the high beams on and off for you based on cameras which detect oncoming headlights or taillights. You can't expect a Lexus owner to pull back on a headlight stock themselves. That type of manual labor is for Camry owners. It's also worth mentioning that the ES350 moved production for the 2016 model year onwards to the US at their Kentucky plant, making it the first Lexus vehicle to be manufactured in the United States. From this point on, the 6th Gen ES finished out its run through the 2018 model year without any major changes. I have to give it credit, especially after the refresh. The ES is very attractive, both inside and out, but I especially like this interior. It's definitely very luxurious. I don't think we can call this entry level or near luxury anymore. This is full on fancy. For 2019, the Lexus Elegant Sedan enters its 7th generation, now available in 3 flavors. The ES300H returns as the hybrid model, now with a combined system output of 215 horsepower. The ES350 returns, and the 3.5-liter gets a boost in power, now to 302 horses and 267 pound-feet of torque. It's now paired to an 8-speed automatic, and every ES comes with paddle shifters. 0 to 60 is down to a brisk 6.5 seconds. For the first time, there's a sporty ES model as Lexus expands their F-Sport performance line to the ES model. We'll talk about the ES350 F-Sport in a moment. Styling on the new ES is what we've come to expect from modern Lexus. A big aggressive corporate grille, sharp-looking headlights with L-shaped LED DRLs, and sleek lines that are sure to turn heads. This new ES looks good from just about any angle. The interior is still a pretty nice place to be. There's some funny angles, but surprisingly it all comes together pretty good. The optional wood grain comes in espresso, dark mocha, or bamboo. F-Sport models get aluminum trim. There's a much bigger infotainment screen which has been moved higher up and has made friends with the analog clock. The instrument cluster is mostly digital now, but it does still retain physical needles for fuel and temp readouts. A large digital tack and speedo combo occupy the center, and it does have a trim ring around it, so at least it's not just one big screen. A multifunction display to the left of that displays your menus, your drive mode, your odometer, and other things like that. Among other driver's aid features, the new ES features standard road sign assist, which means a camera recognizes street signs, including stop signs and speed limits, and then displays them in the cluster for you. Other standard driver's aid features on this ES includes the pre-collision system, now with pedestrian detection, lane departure alert with steering assist, dynamic radar cruise control, and lane tracing assist. I could do without any of that, but I'm sure this guy likes it.
We drink raw tea on the south wing veranda.
The standard audio system now has 10 speakers, a backup camera is standard, front seats are 10-way adjustable, and your ES now supports Amazon Alexa integration. Models produced after October 2018 have standard Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. The luxury package gives you wood trim, perforated leather, front seats with 12 ways of adjustments, and a driver's seat cushion extender. The ultra luxury package will add to that further upgraded leather, 14-way adjustable front seats, a power rear sunshade with manual rear door window shades, and a power-operated trunk lid with a kick sensor. There's also a premium package which adds heated and ventilated seats, a power tilt and telescoping steering column. Wasn't that standard before? Rain-sensing wipers, and the steering wheel, mirror, and driver's seat position memory. Then there's the usual navigation package and the Navi Premium Audio System combo package. A number of these options can be added individually as well, plus a few more things like a wireless charger, heads-up display, the panorama glass roof, and heated steering wheel. Now let's talk about the F-Sport model. You can recognize it by its mesh pattern grille, which I think looks much better. It also gets a spoiler, tinted taillight lenses, and graphite 19-inch wheels. Inside, the F-Sport model comes with the aluminum trim as I mentioned, and it pairs especially nicely with this red leather. If that's too flashy for you, you can get it with black leather as well, but I think the red looks best. There's also some really nice red stitching. You get a different instrument cluster in the F-Sport. It's fully digital and LFA inspired. The F-Sport gets a sportier tuned suspension, and optionally you can upgrade it to Lexus's adaptive variable suspension with Sport S Plus and custom drive modes. When you activate the Sport S Plus mode, you'll get things like heightened throttle and steering response and tighter suspension. It seems a little odd that that's optional on the F-Sport, since without it this model seems more like a trim package than a performance variant. You don't actually get an upgraded powertrain over the regular ES350, but I guess 302 horsepower is plenty for a front-wheel drive car. For 2021, Lexus introduces an all-wheel drive model to the ES lineup for the first time, but not to the ES350 or even the ES300H. Meet the ES250 all-wheel drive. It uses the 2.5-liter engine from the ES300H, except without any of the hybrid stuff. It's rated at 203 horsepower and 184 pound-feet of torque, so basically they've added a 4-cylinder ES model, which in itself is fine. I don't mind them adding a 4-cylinder option as sort of an entry-level model. I'm just confused as to why they are making this the all-wheel drive model. Why not add all-wheel drive options to the V6 or the hybrid model? Some of those buyers might want all-wheel drive, but I doubt they want to sacrifice almost 100 horsepower or significant fuel economy to get it. As for it being a more attainable entry-level model, the added cost of the all-wheel drive system prevented that. It's literally the exact same price as the ES350, so I don't know who would buy this one. Inexplicably, there's also an F-Sport version of the ES250 as well. Also for 2021, Lexus adds a Black Line Special Edition package, limited to a run of 1,500 units. This is basically an ES350 Sport model, but with a bunch of black exterior features like dark wheels, a black spoiler, and black mirrors. Remember back when you had to pay extra to get body-colored mirrors? Well, now you have to pay extra for black mirrors. Oh, and the Black Line Edition also gets you some more luggage. The 2022 model year brings the mid-cycle update, and the refreshed ES has a sharper front end with an updated grille, and the LED running lights are now more of a V shape than an L. I don't think they updated the back, that looks the same to me. There are some updates to the interior. The main one is the infotainment display screen has been moved forward and is now a touchscreen, probably because no one liked the mouse pad, but it's still there if you choose to use it. The standard driver's aid features have all been upgraded. It's now on version 2.5 of Lexus's safety system. Your Lexus can center itself in the lane for you, follow the car in front of you, and when dynamic radar cruise control is engaged, it will even accelerate for you when you flick the turn signal in preparation for the lane change. It also has a curve speed reduction feature which can slow down for you in corners, in case you don't. My only question is, what the hell does the driver do? Just sits there and looks pretty, I guess. Also for 2022, they added an F-Sport version to the hybrid. I wonder if it has paddle shifters for an EVT simulated driving. Yeah, of course it does. For 2025, the final model year of this generation, they bring back the Black Line Edition, again for the ES350 Sport, and this time limited to just 1,000 units. It doesn't look like they give you any luggage this time though, but you do get a credit card key, in case you can't fit the key fob in the pocket of your extra slim fit dress pants. Actually, the key card isn't even free, you have to pay for it. Along with all of this other stuff you have to pay for separately to get the Black Line package. So even though they say this package costs $1,500, it's actually almost $4,000, $4,500 if you want the privilege of a white exterior. Them are some expensive black mirrors. Now 2026 is going to bring the 8th generation ES, and as of making this video, it's not available in North America yet, but Lexus has released most of the details on it, so let's take a look. Oh no, I'm scared. The new ES will be available in either hybrid or EV forms. No more V6 or gas model.
Hard pass.
It's also hideously ugly. I mean, what even is this? It looks like something I would expect from Kia. It kind of looks like a crossover now, but the press release still calls it a sedan, with a flowing trunkless profile. The inside kind of looks like a Tesla, and that's not a compliment. It's got a big screen, everything is integrated into it, there's no gauges, and this demo model is already upset and wants to be taken back to the dealer. You can get bamboo wood trim, but I don't think it looks very good. Overall, pretty awful interior if you ask me. It doesn't feel very luxurious at all. Well, maybe I shouldn't say it doesn't feel luxurious. It doesn't look luxurious. I've obviously never sat in one. Maybe everything is super soft touch and premium feeling. If that's the case, then the only thing that will make this interior tolerable to me would be blindness. It looks like you'll be able to get the hybrid model, the ES350H, in either front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive versions. It's still using the 2.5 inline from last year for the combustion side of things. The EV models are going to be the ES350E, which will be the front-wheel drive model, and the all-wheel drive model will be the ES500E. The ES500E in particular will have a ridiculous amount of power and torque, and it can continuously adjust the torque distribution between all four wheels. With that kind of instant torque, I expect it to be pretty insane when accelerating from a standstill, so if you're into electric powertrains, I guess you'll find it pretty cool. Lexus is estimating the range of these things at 250 to 300 miles, which I guess will be fine in the city, but I don't see how people are ever gonna road trip electric vehicles. Like, let's just pretend the highway you're driving on has tons of fast charging stations, so finding one is not an issue. You're still gonna have to stop every couple of hours and wait at least 30 minutes for your car to charge. That wastes so much time. That's great you can charge to 80% in 30 minutes, but guess what? I can fill my tank to 100% in less than 2. Better buy a real car while you still can, folks, because this is what every new car is going to be like soon. Anyway, clearly Lexus has lost their way, but that's okay. The ES had a good run. The first 7 generations are all pretty good. I like some of them better than others, obviously, but they all have some redeeming qualities. My favorite is the 2nd gen. That's definitely the one I would want. But let me know in the comments, which generation is your favorite?